If you're looking for hosting for your website and SiteGround has popped up on your radar, stick around because this video is exactly what you need. I used it, tested it, analyzed it for months, and today I'm going to tell you everything: what it is, how it works, how much it really costs, and most importantly, whether it's worth it or just really good marketing. Because there's something about SiteGround's pricing that almost nobody tells you, and it could end up costing you a lot if you don't know about it before signing up. Alright, let's start from the beginning. If you spent even just a couple of days looking for hosting online, it's almost impossible that you haven't come across SiteGround. It shows up in blogs, YouTube videos, WordPress forums, it's everywhere. And of course, you start to wonder, is it really that good, or do they just have a great marketing team? I ask myself that same question, and the short answer is both. But let me explain. SiteGround was founded in 2004 by a group of university students in Bulgaria. Yeah, what started out as almost a college project eventually became one of the most recognized hosting companies in the world. Today, SiteGround hosts millions of websites worldwide, and that's no coincidence. They built a reputation based on 3 pillars: speed, security, and customer support. Now, what really sets them apart from many competitors is their infrastructure. They run on Google Cloud, the same infrastructure Google uses for its own services. SiteGround is especially popular among WordPress users. If you're thinking about starting a blog, an online store with WooCommerce, or any kind of WordPress site, SiteGround was designed with you in mind. But it's not just for WordPress users. SiteGround also works really well for those who want to use other content management systems or even their own page builder. Something that really caught my attention when I started using it was their control panel. Most hosting providers give you a cPanel, and if you've used it, you know it can be a bit overwhelming at first. SiteGround decided to create their own panel called Site Tools, and honestly, it's a welcome change. It's clean, modern, intuitive, and has everything you need just a couple of clicks away. Okay, now we've reached the part everyone cares about: the money. How much does SiteGround cost? And more importantly, how much is it going to cost you after the first year? Because this is where the catch is that nobody tells you about, and I learned it the hard way. SiteGround has 3 shared hosting plans. They're called Startup, Grow Big, and Go Geek. Let's go through them one by one. The Startup plan is the most basic and is designed for those just starting out with a single website. You get 10 gigabytes of disk space, free SSL, daily backups, and unlimited email accounts under your domain. The starting price is around $3 a month for the first year. Sounds amazing, right? The Grow Big plan is the one I use and the one I recommend most for most people. For about $5 a month during the first year, you can host unlimited websites, get 20 gigabytes of space, support for around 100,000 monthly visits, and it also includes something really useful that the Startup plan doesn't have: a staging environment, which basically lets you make changes to your site without affecting the version your visitors are seeing. It also includes on-demand backups, which gives you much more control over your data. For a blog, an online store, or a business website, this plan is the sweet spot between price and functionality. And then there's Go Geek, the most advanced plan, which starts at about $8 a month for the first year. It gives you 40 gigabytes of space, support for up to 400,000 monthly visits, and adds more technical features like Git integration for developers, priority support, and management tools for agencies that handle client sites. If you're just starting out, you probably don't need it. But if your project grows, knowing you can upgrade to this plan without switching providers is a huge relief. Now, it's time to talk about what many people conveniently leave out: the renewal fees. Because those attractive first-year prices don't last forever. Once your initial period ends, the prices change quite a bit. The Startup plan goes up to about $18 a month, the Grow Big jumps to around $30 a month, and the Go Geek reaches approximately $45 a month. Does that mean SiteGround is a bad option? Not necessarily. It means you need to go in with your eyes open and do your math. Here's my advice. If you're going to sign up with SiteGround, choose the longest possible term from the start so you can take advantage of the discounted price for as long as possible. And if at some point you feel the renewal price isn't worth it for you, at least you'll have built your site on a solid foundation and given yourself enough time to decide whether to switch or stay. In the description of this video, I'll leave you the link with the best deals available so you can get in at the best possible price, because the difference between signing up with a coupon and without one can be pretty significant. Okay, now you know the prices, but here comes the real question. Does SiteGround actually deliver on its promises when it comes to performance? Because at the end of the day, you can have the nicest looking dashboard in the world and the best plans on paper, but if your site takes 5 seconds to load, it's worthless. And I wanted to know this with real data, not just what the company itself says on its website. In tests monitored over 6 months with a real WordPress site featuring more than 10 active pages and plugins like Elementor, WooCommerce, and WP Forms installed, in other words, a site that looks like what any of us would actually set up in the real world, SiteGround had an average load time of 1.79 seconds. Google recommends that any website should load in less than 2.5 seconds to avoid hurting the user experience. And keep in mind, this was without installing any additional optimization plugins like WP Rocket. With an optimized setup, that load time could drop even further. The other metric that I think is just as important, if not more, is uptime, which is basically the percentage of time your site is up and available to your visitors, because a fast site is useless if it keeps going down. During that same 6-month period, SiteGround recorded an uptime of 99.99%, with only 32 minutes of total downtime in all that time. According to industry standards, any hosting provider with more than 99.95% uptime is considered excellent and reliable. Now then, what's behind those numbers? It's the Google Cloud infrastructure combined with SiteGround's own tools. One of the ones I like the most when I discovered it is the Speed Optimizer, which is a free plugin that SiteGround gives you. With SiteGround, you can enable automatic conversion to WebP format, which is much lighter. The CDN, or Content Delivery Network, which is included in all SiteGround plans, basically distributes your website's files across more than 170 servers around the world. That means someone visiting your site from Asia will load it almost as quickly as someone visiting from your own country. Alright, we already know that SiteGround is fast and stable, but there's something I think is just as important and that often gets overlooked when we evaluate a hosting service: security. Because you can have the fastest website in the world, but if one day you get hacked and lose everything, or worse, if your site starts distributing malware without you even knowing it, all that work goes down the drain in seconds. And trust me, that happens more often than you'd think. So what does SiteGround do when it comes to security? Quite a bit more than most. The first thing that caught my attention when I started using it was the Security Optimizer, which is another free plugin that SiteGround offers you. But what surprised me the most, and honestly, I hadn't seen this with other hosting providers I'd worked with before, is their malware cleaning service. SiteGround goes a step further and offers a service where they clean the malware from your site themselves for around $100. It might sound like an extra expense, but compared to what the industry charges for that same service, it's much more affordable. And on top of that, it's done by the same team that knows your infrastructure inside and out. All SiteGround plans include daily automatic backups, and SiteGround keeps the last 30 days worth. With the Grow Big and Go Geek plans, you also get on-demand backups, which lets you create a manual backup right before making any important changes. That has saved me more than once, and I'm telling you from personal experience. And of course, as I mentioned before, all plans include a free SSL certificate. Google penalizes pages without SSL, and users don't trust sites that don't have it, especially if they're going to make a purchase or leave their personal information. Okay, we've reached the final chapter. Is SiteGround worth it? Or is it just a name with a lot of marketing behind it? The short answer is yes, it's worth it. If you're looking for reliable, fast, and secure hosting with support that actually responds, SiteGround is one of the best options available on the market today. It's not perfect, and the renewal issue is something you really need to keep in mind. But if you go in with your eyes open and take advantage of the available promotions, the value you get for what you pay is very hard to beat. If you want to give SiteGround a try, don't search for it directly on Google because you'll miss out on the discount. I've left the link with the best promotion available right now down in the description. Check it out, compare the plans, and start off on the right foot from day one. That's it.